is good, YouTube? It's your boy LegendaryEA, and we are back here for another video. And today we're gonna be talking about Jarrett Culver and the 2019 NBA draft. So if you guys missed my last prospect video, I did do it with Cam Reddish out of Duke University and talked about how I think he's one of the most underrated players in this year's draft. But I mean, other than that, you guys, obviously the last one was with Killer Cam. This one is me with Culver, and we also do have the mock draft going on. So if you guys enjoy any of these videos and this one, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button, and of course subscribe. Let me know who we should do this with next, man. Obviously on this channel we're doing the rebuilds and we're gearing up for the 2019 NBA draft, so I do want to make one with RJ Barrett and DeAndre Hunter as well. But let me know who else I should be checking out. Some of the more underrated guys I've never really heard of. But I mean, other than that, we're talking about Jarrett Culver and how I think he's one of the most interesting players or more intriguing players in this year's draft. But I mean, other than that, like I said, make sure you go ahead and show some love on this video, and let's just get straight into it. So obviously Jarrett Culver out of Texas Tech University. Tech obviously had their best season in school history. I mean, making it to the national championship and being that close to winning the whole thing. Now, if you guys watched it, some blame for their loss definitely should be put on Culver, but also them just getting there. All of the love, like, he should get a lot of the credit as well, along with Coach Beard. So if you didn't know, I did watch a lot of Jarrett Culver. I think other than the guys at Duke, I probably watched him the most starting his freshman year, and everybody could see that he could hoop, but no one saw him turning into a top 10 draft pick the following season. I would have to say that other than Murray State's John Morant, his draft stock definitely improved the most over the course of this year. But other than that, if you guys did not know, Jarrett Culver is a 6'6" wing player, preferably a shooting guard. I would bring up a player comp, but Culver is probably one of the more all-around players in this year's draft, which is why I think he's one of the most intriguing, because out of anybody in this year's draft, Culver doesn't really excel at anything. He's just decent at almost every aspect of the game. And that's why I would have to say, I mean, currently for me, he's ranked as probably the 6th or 7th best prospect in this year's draft. The players that I have in front of him, I have Zion, Ja, RJ, Cam, Darius Garland, and I guess between him and DeAndre Hunter, they could fight for that 6th or 7th spot. But those are the guys that I have in front of him. But I think that he's a player that he excels well if he would land in the right system. This previous season at Texas Tech, he averaged 18.5 points, nearly 2 steals, almost 4 assists, and 6 rebounds. The man was really good, and he also shot around 46% from the field and 30% from the three. He was a really good player, and some of the things that I like about his game, he really excels well in the mid-range game, and I think that he's a fairly good playmaker, and he's good off the ball too. I think that if he lands on a team with a good system and a good defensive system, he could possibly end his career and make a few all-defensive teams as well. But the one reason why I'm not completely sold and why I think that he's most intriguing is normally when you have a player being talked about, because I have seen it on some mock drafts, they have him going number 4 to the Lakers. Normally when you have a prospect like that, we see how they excel at something. Something makes their game stand out in such a tremendous way. I mean, we look at last year's draft. DeAndre Ayton was a physical freak of nature. We saw Marvin Bagley. We saw Trae Young. They all excelled at some certain aspect of the game. The year before with Fultz, who was an offensive juggernaut at Washington, and Lonzo being the same thing. Normally that happens, and even in this year's draft, Zion is a freak athlete. Ja called himself a point guard, right? He has incredible playmaking skills, and RJ Barrett is just a bucket. All those guys excel at something, and I guess that's kind of where Jarrett Culver becomes really intriguing, because though he doesn't excel at anything, he's decent at everything. I mean, there's really no flaws in his game other than he is a pretty streaky shooter. So that's one of the things. Another thing that kind of hurts him is that there's really no player comp. I mean, I searched for this video and I really couldn't find one. I found one, I found one. It was from Bleacher Report. They said Chris Middleton, but even their comparison really made no sense. I don't know. But just heading more into Culver's game, he's a good scorer off the dribble. He's a adequate shooter. He excels at scoring off ball and just running motion plays in general. He's a good playmaker. He's a good rebounder. He's a good defender, and he's a decent athlete as well. And I feel like he is somebody who can handle pressure really well. I did feel that in some moments of the game, but also I saw the same thing with Cam Reddish. Culver, unlike Cam, showed that he can like take over games, but in some of those key moments, especially once March Madness started, there was a few times in games where he was kind of passive, and I mean that's one of his cons, but some of the other ones is, like I said before, he is a streaky shooter, and even on some scouting reports can be prone to hoisting up questionable shots, and we definitely saw that in the final minute of the national championship. Look, I'm not really here to like bash on Culver because I still think that he can be a really good role player. And in this year's draft, people are saying it's a 3-man draft between Ja, RJ, and Zion, but I think this year's draft can pull up a lot of really good role players. I think that Culver is somebody who he won't bust. He can't be a bust. I think that if anything, he can be another really good player to a good team. I think that that's his ceiling, though. I really don't see superstar. I really don't see superstar potential, but I see somebody who, on a decent team, can put up good numbers and help them win and just play his role. But that's not something to really be mad about. If you can get a good role player in any of these drafts outside of the top 5, it's solid. Currently, I have him going number 8 to the Atlanta Hawks with Trae Young and having them a little Lubbock duo in the backcourt, and I think that could definitely work out if that ends up happening. But anyways, guys, this was a quick little video. Like I said in the last one, if you guys want me to start going more in depth and breaking down their film and all of that stuff, let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys think about Jarrett Culver, man? Who is his player comp? Like, that is something that is really like kind of like annoying me. Like, normally I'm like good with thinking of somebody that they remind me of, but for something like his game, I don't see a lot of it. I mean, yeah, I said that he's better in the mid-range, but he doesn't remind me of DeMar DeRozan at all. Like, DeMar was still a freak athlete. It's still kind of weird. But anyways, guys, let me know. I think that Jarrett Culver is going to be a really decent player in the NBA. Like I said, man, his floor is not that low, but his ceiling, I don't think that his ceiling is as high as people are gassing it up, but he's still intriguing because, like I said, man, if you can get a good role player in any draft outside of the top 5, you still won, because that still rarely happens. We normally see about 2 or 3 guys out of every single draft class that actually does well and actually has a long career. I think that this draft class outside of the top 3 is very underrated, and a lot of these guys might be sticking around for a long time. But anyways, guys, like I said, let me know what you guys think about the draft. Make sure to go ahead and like this video and let me know who we should do this with next. Yo, Culver, I'm telling you, nobody's like, I'm telling you, this man improved his draft stock so much. I'm just waiting to see how much he improves. But other than that, you guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm out. Peace, y'all.